Hello, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World on July 30th, I think it is, 20, 2024. Wow, we're going to have a bit of a babbling time. I'm trying to figure out for Fall In if I'll do Fort William Henry, which we'll take a tour of that, or Isandlwana, both in 54 millimeter. But there's some other things I want to go over. And for those of you interested in history, this is what I've decided to do. I have two channels. Bill's History World with none other than Goober the Traveling Bear and Bill's Wargame World. Now, I'm going to switch over to where you're going to see me talking a bit because this is sort of important to me. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, it's been 1 year now, August 1st, since we've had the second channel. I have created some really, really good videos on that second channel, Bill's History World. Some wonderful military sites with wonderful historians. And I'm trying to get more people to watch that channel. One of the examples is Nell of the Maryland Veterans Museum, a phenomenal historian, gives a 3-minute talk about the Springfield 1903 rifle. Over 2,300 views on the Wargame channel. On the History channel, 25. Well, I'm not sure. I've asked a lot of people on this channel, on that channel, to flip-flop. So what we're going to do is the History channel will stay a History channel. But the Wargaming channel, if I have a really good interview, a good video of a historic site, like this weekend when we visited George Washington's birthplace, we may put that on the Wargaming channel. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But there are times I'm being allowed into museums or meeting with these historians, and they have some incredible military history or regular history to talk about. Robert Kelly, director of the Gloucester Museum of History, for example, talks about the only Medal of Honor recipient in Gloucester, Virginia, who was an African-American soldier in the Colored Union Regiment. I think it was the 31st. I may be incorrect on that regiment. That deserves more than 130 views. So, Goober the Traveling Bear raised $320 this month alone on YouTube videos. Also, Cliff Bunkin and Justin, I can't pronounce his last name, starts with a G. They both did a cash donation. August 7th or 8th, I'm taking the check to Wayne Motts at the Gettysburg Foundation. Each month, we are donating our YouTube money. And I'm averaging high 200s, 300s a month. And we'll be working on releasing the 2025 Goober the Traveling Bear calendar. And all the money this year, or February when we give the check, will go to the Maryland Veterans Museum in La Plata, Maryland, to Connie and Nell. I'm hoping when these get released on the Blue Panther Board Wargaming site under the Bill Molyneux Games, you'll consider buying one. It is going to a very good cause for the Maryland Veterans Museum. So, Goober and I have been working hard on Fort William Henry. So what do you say we do a little talking about Fort William Henry? And I'll move the camera a bit. So one of the things I want to do is fall in. Should I do Isandlwana or Fort William Henry? We're going to go left to right. Wendy Harlow, by the way, makes my Goober mugs, shirts, and hoodies. We have several types, but we have the one that lists the top 10 historic sites, including the CSS Noose. So if you want one of those, let me know. Wendy Harlow's making them out of Matthews, Virginia. As far as our Fort William Henry, we'll check this out now. We have some emplacements. Of course, this table is a couple tables shy of what it really needs to be. This is just just trying to get organized. I'm hoping to do this at Barrage if Eric of the Hawks can find me enough table space, or at least 10-foot table. The fort was 3D printed, and we're going to take the camera around there. But first I'll mention these homemade emplacements were made by John Priest, Mike Priest, the famous author and historian. And he has a new book out on the first day of Gettysburg that I just purchased from him. And I hope to do a book review, and I'm way behind on book reviews. So we have an artillery park with some French troops. French artillery uniforms in this time period were actually blue or red. They were there was more red than anything. Just thought I'd bring that up. Some of these I have painted in their gray brown. And we're going to go over and check out the fort. Our blockhouse, by the way, is a Marx blockhouse from one of the many play sets. It is unique in the sense that it has a lot of detail, and I have done a detailed video on the Marx blockhouse. All right, we're going to go to the handheld camera now, and we'll take a tour of the fort. So follow me. All right, we're on the handheld camera. You can get these cannons for 54 millimeter. They're pencil sharpeners. You can take needle nose pliers and rip out the back section of, helps it become a pencil sharpener. But this is a 54 millimeter 3D printed glued on styrofoam, 3D printed by Josh Warliff, and he can make these in any scale from, I think, 6 millimeter all the way up to 54. This is a lot of 3D print here. Just the outer walls are 3D printed. And we have taken some figures and placed here. Now, as you know, if you're following me, I'm no longer using individually based figures. I'm going to these tiles, and it's what I've decided to do in my world and in my basement. But having this barracks here works perfect. No issues with having my bases here. Now, I will mention our wall keeps coming along. I am working on the stockade part coming out to protect the gate and our other bastion. I think each bastion will have 2 cannons. And what we have next is, you might have seen in a previous video, Barzio Barracks. I got these from Mr. John at the Gettysburg Miniature Shop. I told him I needed them months ago, and he got me a set. So thank you, Mr. John. I've put an old style gun that you would get at a museum gift shop for nostalgic purposes. And my stone house, we're using it as a guard shack right now. That was gifted to me by Lynn Otto, the famous historian of Conrad Weiser's homestead and French Indian War commander. And then we have our cabin, which would act as Colonel Monroe's headquarters. This cabin and this fencing came from Park Ranger Dan the Ratman Ratcliffe, and it's seen a lot of action, and we also used it as Fort Necessity and won an award. Over there is Goober the Traveling Bear. So that's our tour of our Fort William Henry. I'm trying to decide if we want to do this for Fall In, or do we do Isandlwana in 54? And then that's the big thing. Now we do have some swivel guns. These were made by Frank Prez. These I never finished. They were made by me. So this is my Fort William Henry, and I'm still trying to figure out artillery pieces, gun emplacements, and I need to really paint these gun carriages, wheels, and barrels on many of these guns. Oh, these are Armies in Plastic naval guns. They come with a crew of 4 each. I picked them up at Mr. John's Gettysburg Miniature Shop last week. So we've covered Isandlwana, or Fort William Henry for Fallen. I would probably run it Friday night, Saturday twice. Or do we do Fort William Henry or Isandlwana? I cannot do both because I can't fit that much 54 millimeter stuff in my car. Well, I'm going to close this out with thanking everyone for their viewing of my channel. Jim Perky, who did the Gettysburg game at Historicon, that helped raise a lot of views. And someone asked me about my big Williamsburg mug, if I had one bigger. And you know what? I do. So you got to laugh. Life is short. And so leave me some comments. This is a rambling video. I'm going to be getting out the French Indian War armies and laying them out. So we're going to say, stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and please watch both channels, Bill's Wargame World and Bill's History World, with Goober the Traveling Bear, who is over 40 years old. And in our own small way, we're trying to make a difference for different museums each month. So, and all I'm asking is watch a couple videos a week, and it generates money, believe it or not. So thank you. Stay safe, be kind, be courteous, and don't forget to like and subscribe.